The Dallas Mavericks dominant in Game 4. So now we're back here in Boston. Maxi Kleber. I'm curious. There was a clip that went around with Jason Kidd pregame telling everyone he hoped they'd pack their bags. So had you packed your bags before that game?
I had my bag packed. It was also a short trip, so it was an easy pack.
I like it. What do you actually take away from that game there? Clearly, you keep your season alive, but I am curious the impact of such a dominant win like that, what that does do for the mentality of the team.
Yeah, I think it just showed like this is the way we should play. You know, it was a little bit of a desperate situation, so everybody came out with the right energy, but it shows that if we keep pushing the pace, if we are very alert on the defensive end and play our basketball that we haven't done as much in the first 3 games, we put ourselves in a good spot to win those games, and we have to do the same thing here tomorrow. Obviously, it's a different environment. We're going to play in Boston again, but overall, you know, this is the approach that we got to have every game.
You guys have had big wins on the road and in the postseason so far. You mentioned the environment here. How do you try and absorb what you know is coming? I mean, you've seen it in Game 1 and 2, but now in a clinch situation for this team. How do you do that on the road, specifically as a group?
I think even more so important becomes staying together as a team. You know, Boston is obviously going to make runs. We are going to make runs. What's up, D. Jones? But you just got to make sure that you always stay connected no matter what as a team. So there will be mess-ups. You know, we're not going to play a perfect game. Obviously, we want to try to, especially against a team like that. But overall, you just got to make sure that you always stay connected as a team and push each other, be positive, and stay positive throughout the game.
It looked like it was nearly a perfect game in the last game, but I am curious. I love it in a 7-game series where game to game you see the problems that can be solved along the way. So when you look back at that game and it's so dominant, are you seeing problems that you're able to solve, or as you pointed to, it was a desperation situation? How do you balance
it's always like little puzzle pieces.
Yeah.
I think the last game we did a better job, especially on the offensive side, to first of all push the pace, create mismatches, and then also when we had switches, we created a space for Luka and Kyrie to operate for us, because obviously they have the ball in their hands. They try to get shots for themselves, for everybody else. So we got to make sure we're in the right spots and give them that space so they can play. And on the defensive side, I think everybody was just on high alert on the rotations. We did a better job switching. We did a better job contesting the shots and rotating on the perimeter. And that's just like the key points, especially against a team like that who's playing 5 out.
Yeah, the rotations for me was interesting as well, because we've seen this team, and this is some of the things we talked about in the post-game, no one's actually really been able to limit this team from getting the attempts up. You guys did that in the first 3 quarters before it was over at that point in time. How challenging is that to show bodies in the paint, recover, just in terms of the actual physical toll that takes on you?
It's definitely challenging, and it's a different style of game, right? Especially for big guys that usually like more contesting at the rim or staying inside. That's why it's even more so important that we talk and listen and have the rotations right. And I think we didn't do a perfect job in the first 3 games, and obviously they punished that immediately because they have great shooters. But last game you could see everybody was on high alert, rotating out, taking the corner shots away, taking the top of the keys, and just pressuring the ball. Also, like, you know, it comes with like playing with energy, talking, being on the same page, and that's another key for tomorrow for sure.
What about offensively? I think you guys scored 58 points on drives or off drives, and that's not necessarily just scoring at the basket, but you could tell very early that it wasn't so much about trying to get those threes, but it was all-out attack. That was what you saw in previous games, that you thought you could do it, or again, this is Game 4, and Kyrie and Luka are going to be as aggressive as they can be.
I think it was good for us to keep attacking, especially with Kyrie and Luka, keep attacking the paint. Even if they collapse and you have better shots outside. That's what I said, like the first games we didn't really have great shots for ourselves. We didn't create good shots, but that's also because of the spacing that we provided for our playmakers. So the last time we played in Dallas now, Game 4, everybody knew where to go and how to create those gaps for them, and that's something we have to just watch out. Again, obviously they're going to make adjustments too, so we got to be able to read during the game what's happening and how we can create that space again.
And the bench players are so key to that. I've had a lot of fun during these finals asking you guys what you think about Derek Lively and what he's been able to do. As a rookie, you get it. You're a big man in this league. How impressed are you as you sit back, and particularly that first quarter, it felt like he was the guy that changed the energy?
Yeah, very impressed. You know, it's not just what he does for us on the basketball court playing, but also how he's as a teammate, human being. You know, he has great energy all the time. He's always positive, cheering everybody up, and that's from a rookie, like a young guy coming in who has his own things in life. So he's been really key for this team and kind of like puts everything together too. And like you said, like that energy that he gave us in the first quarter, and I think also his 3 came in the first quarter, right? Like it's just overall a very positive guy that cheers everybody up and gets us going for sure every time.
So I wanted to ask about that 3, because when he took that and then hit that, I was like, all right, I got to go to Basketball Reference and see. I don't feel like I've seen this before. It was his first 3 of the season.
Yeah.
So did you realize that at the time, and what are you thinking?
I mean, I obviously realized it. He had to space the floor once again, just because the spacing wasn't right on the other side. So he created that gap, and then they overhelped, and he took that shot with confidence, made it, which obviously is like a big boost for us. But that's just like shows how he is. He tries to like find a solution no matter what, right? It wasn't perfect, but he came out and then he knocked it down, which helped us a lot. So that just shows how he is like very wise and intelligent for his age. 2
of the other guys on the bench, we've obviously got an interest in, Dante Exum and Josh Green, and they were both great in the last game as well. They didn't give me too much info on you, which I was disappointed about.
That's okay. Good friends.
It's a good friend. So let me ask, who's a better dunker out of those 2? Because I think, because I know the easy answer, Derek Jones, he said that Josh Green should be in the dunk contest next year, but I think Dante's underrated, and he's had the big dunk already in the finals.
That's a good question. I think open court for sure Josh. In a half court setting, maybe Dante, but overall I would pick Josh for sure.
I think it's probably
just more athleticism. Yeah.
It's probably the right pick. Now, I showed you the clip before this interview because I was just curious. I'm a man who gets very easily distracted. So when I saw the clip in the last round, you just come back from injury, and it was just a viral moment of all 4 players calling you over to the huddle. Do the players see that and are able to have a laugh about something like that? Obviously, in the moment, they're trying to be good leaders, but it was a great moment.
Everybody. I mean, we didn't watch it together, but I assume everybody has seen the clip or noticed it or whatever. But overall, what just happened is there was a call, and I was just like trying to like talk to the ref, see what his opinion was on that. And in the same moment, they tried to huddle, so they just called me over. So it looked a little bit more serious than it actually was, because overall, those huddle moments happen a lot during the game. It was just, I guess, a funny angle and a funny moment for everybody.
No, it was very good. And disappointment for you, obviously, at the start of this postseason, just with the injury. I'm curious, you're obviously working around the clock to get back. This team keeps on winning. How do you sit and watch? Are you a good watcher?
I mean, watching is really tough. You always want to be out there and play, especially when the reason is an injury. But you got to stay positive, and I think we did a great job with the medical staff trying to come back from an injury that's not that easy in that time span. But obviously not ideal, because rhythm goes away, conditioning goes away, but it's something that you just have to work through and live with, and you make the best out of it.
And how have you found that? Because you just pointed to it. It's not like you're coming back on a Tuesday regular season game. You're coming back, it's the conference finals, and now you're in this situation with all this craziness. Yeah,
it's definitely not ideal, because I felt like I had a good rhythm too, especially in the Clippers series, the first round and the end of the season. But like I said, it's unfortunately part of the game, and then you just try to make the best of it. But obviously, I was excited because every game that we won meant we're gonna advance further and further, and obviously like being here, being able to play in the finals is an amazing experience.
Yeah, and some of those long series, you're like, look guys, I know we want to wrap this up and we want to get to the next round, but you're helping me out by extending these series. Let me ask about, because it's obviously so fascinating. We see the guys practicing here, and a lot of eyes on Kyrie, a lot of eyes on Luka. What about Jason Kidd though in practices? What don't we see? Because we know he's a great at the game. Is he still trying take these guys on one-on-one? Because we see the competitiveness and we know it doesn't go away.
Yeah, but I think he knows he shouldn't challenge them on the defensive side, so he's staying away from that. Maybe taking bets or trash talk a little bit here and there, but I think the one-on-one game with Kyrie and Luka would be probably a bad idea right now.
No, we like it. Last one I got for you. Routine heading into Game 5. Obviously, this is a different situation. You're not normally doing all this kind of stuff leading into the game. What does the next 24 look like for you leading into the game?
Get a lot of rest, treatment, make sure you're mentally prepared for what's to come tomorrow. Tomorrow morning, then we go through tactics again, and then, it's basically game time. So not much other than rest and mentally prepare for what's about to come.
Mate, we're excited. We're back here. Hopefully the series continues. Maxi Kleber.
Thank you very much.